That was my little measuring stick to make sure that my head's going to be here in frame, ghetto style. I'm out here actually trying to get my farmer's tan taken care of. No offense to you farmers, but I don't like that look and these white legs of mine. So I'm out here enjoying this sunny, beautiful, gorgeous day, sweating like a pig. Anyway, this is just an impromptu video because I just read the news a little bit ago that Washington County was approved for phase 1, which means that we're going to start to see things opening up around here. And one of the things I immediately did was I scanned social media, Facebook, Instagram, seeing what other folks are doing. Local businesses, are they going to open immediately upon hearing that we've gotten this green light, so to speak, to move toward normalcy again? And as I was scanning through Facebook, I'm noticing, man, there's not a lot of folks saying much about that. And then I thought about, I wonder how many folks are wondering that with regard to Old Town Church and whether or not we're going to open up this Sunday now that phase 1 again has been cleared. So the short answer is no. We're not quite ready to do that yet. I do want to assure you, though, those of you who attend Old Town Church or you've been tuning in, is that we've been talking a lot about what that's going to look like when that time comes. We've had meeting with our trustees. Our staff has been talking about it. I've been attending a number of online conferences, so to speak, conference calls with the state and other faith communities. In fact, been meeting on occasion with some of the local pastors here via Zoom to talk about how are we going to approach this thing. And it's all rather complicated, right? There's so many things that we have to take into consideration. Do we make everyone wear masks? Do we enforce our staff to wear masks? Do we, how many folks, well, presently we're only allowed to let in, I believe, 25 folks, but who are those 25 folks? Is it a lottery? Oh, there's so many things that we need to keep in mind. And so we want to do this slowly and take time to really think about it, not just from a logistical standpoint, but also prayerful, asking God to guide us and give us wisdom and discernment. I know some folks may be concerned that in the absence of Old Town Church and other communities, church communities opening their doors, that we won't be able to enjoy fellowship with one another. Hebrews 10:25, I believe it says, that we shouldn't neglect the gathering together of believers. And so I know there's some folks who think that, well, this means that you're not providing that place for us to do what it is that we're essentially commanded to do, that be gathering together. And I understand the value of coming together on a Sunday morning. Otherwise, I wouldn't do what I'm doing. I really believe that there's value for us to come together and to worship and to have opportunities for our little ones to learn about Jesus and what it means to walk by faith and all of those things. There's value in that. But I also at the same time think that we sure have misunderstood what it means to gather as a church. I mean, the purpose of coming together, and the reason why you don't want to neglect coming together, is because when you're in relationship, close proximity with other believers, which we're not able to do, but the intent of that is we can mutually encourage each other. We can serve one another in love. Where there's a need, it can be met. Somebody moves and you need help, you can look to your church community and those who are closest to you to help you. Those who you're in close relationship as it concerns fellow believers, they can pray for you when you're sick and visit you in the hospital. Something I can't often do. I know folks think that there's something about me praying for them that's more powerful. That's just not true. But I can't pray for everyone. So you having relationship with other believers allows that to happen. There's mutual accountability. So when you or someone else is not living quite the way that we know the Lord intends for us to do, then we can hold each other accountable. That's what happens in community, in church community. Now tell me, is that what you experience, what I just described, on a Sunday morning, where we sit in rows next to people who you might see from one week to the next, but who you don't even know really from Adam. You don't know them. You don't necessarily know their stories. They're not going to be holding you accountable. When you are sick or you're moving and need help, they're not going to be necessarily the ones to come and help you. Who's going to help you? The ones who you are in a life group with, who know you, who you break bread with, who you share your stories of faith with and your challenges. That's where real church community happens. And right now, again, that's happening. It's not happening in the same way that it has in the past necessarily. It's happening virtually, sometimes in Zoom, but the fact is some folks are still gathering. They, in loving one another, have created a space that's safe for them as far as they're concerned, and they are still gathering. And so the neglecting of coming together as believers, really, it's up to each one of us to pursue those kind of relationships outside of a Sunday morning. That's why for months now, and really I would say years, but months in terms of coming to a clear and firm conclusion to this being a value of ours as Old Town Church, is that we recognize that as much as we think coming together as a church family is important, that's not the end all be all. Really, it's those small group communities that are going to really be where the church operates the way that God intended it to. Man, we've been saying that forever. So hope nobody will accuse us of fostering this, well, I guess we're not gathering, and forget about it, and therefore causing people to neglect the gathering believers. That's something that each one of us has to take responsibility for. We have plenty of opportunities to do that, even still, right now. I would encourage you, go to it sounds like a commercial, but it's not. Well, I guess it, in essence, kind of is that. Go to oldtownfg.com, and there's a little tab that says groups, and there's a list of people who are meeting through Zoom, there's some groups that are still open. We're always looking for leaders, but plenty of opportunities for you to get connected still, even in the midst of this coronavirus world that we live in now. And so will you take the opportunity to go and sign up and get into a life group? Some folks are scared of that. It could be intimidating, stepping into a group of people who they don't know. Well, I understand that. We've also put videos up there that show what it looks like to be at a gathering in a home, maybe with people who you don't know. But in these videos, it shows the deep friendships and bonds that are formed there in these communities. It's scary at first, but stepping out in faith and obedience, really, to this call to not neglect the gathering together with believers as we're at the biblical way, not necessarily the way that we've come to believe it. It's really upon your shoulders to do that. Anyway, I've already probably gone on longer than I intended to. I just didn't want to leave you hanging, wondering what gives. Wow, Washington County, they approved phase 1. Is Old Town going to open? Not yet. And we're going to really prayerfully take time to sort through the complexities of reopening in a way that creates a safe space for people to gather, and that ensures that we are able to bring folks together in a way that won't further spread this virus. And so hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. That's it. As I'm taking some time out here, I'm going to say a little prayer for you, and I'll let y'all go, and I'll come back with an update once we've come to some further conclusions about how we're going to reopen. Okay, so let me say a little prayer for you, and then I'll jump off here. God, I continue to pray for wisdom and discernment with this whole thing, and that you'd give us the wisdom and guidance, discernment that we need to navigate what's a very complicated thing in reopening. It doesn't sound complicated, but it sure is. I don't think just putting up tape 6 feet apart is going to do the thing. So I look to you for guidance. I pray for those who are watching that they would continue to experience good health and vitality, and that they would be encouraged that while it might seem doom and gloom and that this thing is going to, like the sky is falling, I really believe that things are going to go well. I really think that in my heart of hearts, I'm hopeful. So I pray that we wouldn't live in fear, and that we would look to you for hope and guidance and strength in these times. It's in the name of your Son, Jesus, that I pray. Amen. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy the sun. I'm going to get back to baking these white legs of mine. And tune in Sunday. I'm going to be starting a new series that I'm calling Selah, the Psalms. We're going to take a trip through the Psalms, and I'll tell you more about it on Sunday as to why I've chosen this path. I actually set aside a series that I was going to do for this one, kind of for some personal reasons. So I'll explain more on Sunday. Until then, have a great rest of your weekend. All right, bye guys.